Welcome into Double T Insider. Thanks so much for being with us today. I'm Taylor Peters alongside Robert Giovanetti, and we're so happy that you're here with us. Man, what an amazing opening weekend for Texas Tech baseball, going 4-0 here at home and outscoring opponents 64-11. That doesn't happen a whole awful lot.
No, it was a great combination of everything happening at the right time. Right, great pitching by the Red Raiders throughout. Obviously, when teams like HBU and Northern Colorado were a little bit overmatched when you got Saturday and Sunday pitching-wise, but you got to be able to take advantage of that, and the Red Raiders certainly were able to do that.
And Texas Tech really started to hit their stride there in Game 2, and I know that you were here for all of those games. What was maybe the biggest difference where you thought, okay, wow, everything is kind of really coming together? We're seeing a different team than what we've seen before.
I think what we saw after Friday, they struggled a little bit with, and Grueller for HBU is a really good starter who started their Friday game for them, but I think you saw on Saturday that the younger guys maybe had some of their nerves out, and you've got so many position players vying for a spot that they all know, hey, this is my chance, and most of them took advantage of it.
When freshman Nate Roundback was one of them too, he had a really sensational debut as a Red Raider. 5 home runs, 15 RBI weekend for that young man, and he's now generating some national attention as well, being named Division I Baseball Player of the Week.
You know what's amazing for him too is all 5 of his home runs were 3-run homers, which is pretty unusual, and all 15 of his RBI came from the 5 home runs. But I heard Jamie Lent on radio talking about this, that you had to have some guys beyond base to be able to do these things, and everyone, I think, as a team, the Red Raiders hit over 450 on the weekend. You put up really amazing numbers. Again, you can't really base your whole season on that. I mean, obviously, the opponents are going to get tougher starting next weekend, but you did what you had to do, and that was dominate 2 teams that you should dominate.
A dominating weekend there for Texas Tech baseball here at home, but Red Raider softball would go and have really a standout weekend of their own on the road, defeating a pair of top 20 teams. We've talked so much about Coach Gregory and what she's been building to, and to be able to come out and showcase that on a big stage against some really elite teams says a lot about where this group is early.
You could tell what Coach Gregory thought she had this year just by the way she scheduled. The schedule every weekend is very difficult. You're facing ranked teams every weekend, and they're holding their own. They had a chance going into the final inning against Washington to defeat the #1 team in the country. They lost in extras, but still a lot that they can build on as you head towards the toughest league in the country in the Big 12.
And junior pitcher Aaron Edmondson has really been at the cornerstone of everything that is going right for Texas Tech softball in the last couple of years, but now you add another piece to that pitching puzzle in Gigi Wall, and she is somebody who really has elevated what they're able to do.
Watching Gigi against Washington, she got tired, I think, about the 5th inning or so, but really showed you what Coach Gregory has been talking about her, what she can bring to this team. And so, again, she'll build off that performance going into conference play.
And maybe something that Coach Gregory has said they need to work on at this point is just a little bit more consistency. They played great against such great teams, but maybe fell off a little bit against lesser opponents. What would you say is the most important part as they now kind of continue their games on the road at this point?
I think they just have to continue to build off, sometimes facing a little bit of adversity. They fell behind Washington in extra innings and really couldn't come back from that. They've got a couple of more tough tournaments that they're going to play, and I think from these things they have to learn, hey, we're a bit of the hunted too now because they're a ranked team. They go in there, they played the NCAA tournaments last year. Teams are seeing them differently also.
And finally, a tough weekend for Texas Tech men's basketball as they go on the road and drop a really important Big 12 conference game against Oklahoma State. That was really tough for this team.
It was tough. A team you looking at it, you should probably beat. They've got Oklahoma State is playing better. They've got a really solid starting 5, but that's a game you let get away from you. You missed your free throws that you needed to make. Oklahoma State was the more aggressive team. They went to the free throw line substantially more times than you did, but you also had a chance late in the game, but some really key turnovers late in the game cost you that one.
Well, and that Oklahoma State team really had a lot to play for because they were celebrating their Final Four team and historic, potentially Hall of Fame coach Eddie Sutton, who was there in attendance. And so Oklahoma State really kind of showed that, man, we want to win this game, and they proved Texas Tech in that.
Yeah, it was an emotional arena that day, but they are playing better. They've won a couple games over the last couple weeks, and so, but you got to bounce back and win at home.
Important opportunities for Texas Tech, though, as they continue conference play. Don't go anywhere. We're talking more Red Raider baseball next on Double T Insider.
there's usually a reluctance by scorekeepers to.
Here's Jay swinging, crushing this one to right. It is out of here. Young's got his second home run today. The freshman continued to impress, and just like that, it's a 4-run inning for the Red Raiders. They lead it 4-1.
Welcome back into Double T Insider. That young man right there, everybody knows his brother and what he was able to do here at Texas Tech, but Jace Young is already starting to make a name for himself, being named newcomer of the week in the Big 12 Conference.
You know what I love about Jace is he could have gone anywhere, and think his life he's following Josh, right? Yeah. And but he's come in here, been his own guy, and I thought right from the get-go on Friday, aggressive at bats. He looks like a veteran already. I know he's going to face some bumps, but what a great opening weekend for him. Yeah,
a pair of home runs. But when you look at him, you had talked about, some of the things that you sort of see in the way that he sort of approached that debut weekend for him. But just from a standpoint of talent, what is it that makes him special in your opinion? What is it that kind of separates him from the pack?
I think he's got a lot more power than I thought he did. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that talking to J. Bob Thomas on the staff, he said, you'll be surprised in the power this kid has. And he does. Even when he kind of misses a pitch or something, he's able to really drive the ball. And so he's going to be fun to watch.
An explosive weekend for Jace and the rest of Texas Tech baseball. We've got all the excitement right here. Take a look.
Clayton fastball, swing and a miss, blows him by him at 95. This one grounded weakly towards third. Young's going to have to hurry. Scoops, throws in time. Nice play by Jace Young. They have Carter caught, but he takes off of the plate and he scores. Towards the middle, it's going to get through for a hit. Noise, he hits the bag at third. He's going to be sent home by Coach Thomas. Yeah, let's see if they get the ball on the ground. 1-0 pitch, checks his swing and it's rolled back towards the mound. Micah slides, scoops, runs to the bag and beats him to the bag for the final out of the inning. Red Raiders win it. It's a great day to be a Red Raider. Nate Romback goes back to back, putting on a show. Baker hits the bag at second. He's heading for third. In with a stand-up triple. To stop and watch this ball get out of here. Jace Young has his first home run as a Red Raider. Kelly makes it 24-1 as the Red Raiders homer for the 7th time today. It's a great day to be a Red Raider. Texas Tech wins the second game of the double dip, 22-4.
Slash to right center field, big trouble. Center fielder slides and can't make the catch. 2-run scores, it's a double. 2-2, swing, and then strike 3 as Montgomery's heating up. It's the 0-2, it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that may be it.
Now Texas Tech baseball will go out on the road for the first time this season, but we were talking more Texas Tech baseball next on Double T Insider as we're joined by the head coach, Tim Tadlock.
He's a West Texas native who donned the scarlet and black on the football field in the late 1950s. The 2-year letter winner earned a bachelor's degree in education before graduating from medical school. As an orthopedic surgeon, he served the Amarillo community for nearly 3 decades, never forgetting his ties to Texas Tech. He's been a member of the Board of Regents and the Chancellor's Council. But Dr. Bob Stafford's proudest achievement is family. These are the real people of Texas Tech.
Welcome back into Double T Insider. It is always a good day when we get a chance to talk some Texas Tech baseball with Tim Tadlock, head coach of the #1 ranked Red Raider baseball team. Coach, what an amazing opening weekend for your team.
It really was. It was a lot of fun to watch those guys compete and see somebody else in the other dugout and get to play roughly 36 innings in a weekend. It was a lot of fun.
And it's not often that we get a chance to talk about outscoring opponents 64-11 in just 4 games. I mean, obviously just explosive performance from your team at bat, but when you look just over the course of those 4 games, when you look at that weekend, what's maybe the most impressive thing or something that stands out to you that says, okay, we're good because, you know, our team knows who they are?
I would say, I think we would all say it all starts on the mound. I mean, really it all starts with pitching and defense, and playing the game at a high level there sure makes it easier to go to the plate, and when you get a good pitch to hit it hard. And guys did a good job on both sides of it. Once we got through opening day, you never know what's going to happen. And their guy was really good for about 5 or 6 innings opening day, and that's a good challenge for us.
And how exciting is it for you to have somebody like Micah Dallas, who's been really a staple of this pitching staff for you, to be able to go out there and kind of perform the way that he did, and to have somebody with some experience and some leadership to kind of propel that group?
Yeah, I mean, things happen for a reason. I mean, really, he was, we put him in the bullpen pretty much because of where his pitch count was, and because the preparation really didn't put him in a position to start. And what a luxury to have a guy, I mean, in the bullpen, bring him in. And, you know, he pretty much allows us to not go to the bullpen on Friday, and wraps it up pretty easy.
When you've got such good balance, too, because not only do you have just a group of experienced guys who are going to take your team out there, like Micah is one of them, but you also have some freshmen who come in and really have just sensational debuts as a Red Raider. And you know the 2 that I'm going to mention right now, Jace Young and Nate, were just spectacular and had, 7 home runs on the weekend, 28 RBIs. I mean, how exciting is it for you to, you've known for a long time how good these guys are, and to have them go out and showcase that for everybody?
Yeah, really cool to see. I mean, Jace Young probably saw his first Red Raider baseball game when he was 12 years old, maybe 11, back when Josh was a sophomore in high school, and he was just a little guy running around. And Nate Rombach's a guy committed to us as a sophomore. He's been coming out for a couple years. I know those guys were really excited and anticipating, their first weekend playing baseball here, and really cool because they both really prepare the right way. Yeah. They both spend a lot of time in the cage, and as a result of that, they got some results. I mean, you don't always get that in our game, but they did. They really, when they got their pitch, they did some damage.
We had Brian Klein on the show actually last week, and we had talked about, when you play such good baseball, the expectations continue to rise for your team, the ones that you put on yourself, but the ones that other people are putting on you as well. And he said, Coach Tadlock tells us every single day, just take it day by day. You got to come out and you got to win every single day. How much more important is that message going to be now as you start the season after opening weekend as the #1 team in the country?
Yeah, believe it or not, our locker room's not looking at that too much, I don't believe. We try to be right where our feet are. It's a game that can really humble you at the same time. You got to demand out of yourself that you go play the game the right way. And to do that in baseball, you need to be physically present. You need to be mentally present. And our guys have embraced that. And as far as expectations and as far as looking at each day, you want to race towards those and go try to play the game at a high level.
Coach, we're always so excited to get to have you on the show. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back on Double T Insider.
Wore a protective piece over the top of it and kept wearing it because I was shooting it well.
Avery Benson shooting it well for Texas Tech. Double-digit lead for the Red Raiders.
Welcome back into Double T Insider. I am joined here on set by Redshirt sophomore Avery Benson with Red Raider basketball. I got to tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed. I was half hoping you would come on in a cowboy hat. Where is it?
I don't know. I just got out of class. Sometimes it's in the way. It's a little big. people tend to not be able to see in class. It's a distraction.
It's very considerate of you.
I know.
In all honesty, though, this is a team that's really lived through a lot of peaks and valleys throughout the course of the season, but the reality remains that there are 6 games left in the regular season and still so many opportunities for this team. What's kind of the message that you, sort of as a leader on this group, are kind of pushing to some of those younger players about the opportunities that still exist here in the regular season?
Yeah, that these, yesterday we had 20 days left of regular season, basically. So we've been pushing, basically that these 20 days are, the most important so far, just because we need these last 6 games, play good, do our best to win every one of them, help our resume, make the tournament. Some of these guys want to go pro and stuff, and nothing helps them out more than just winning ball games. So.
You've had the opportunity over the last couple of years to work with some really fantastic leaders, and Norrance is one of them. I mean, Brandon Francis developed into a really great leader. When you kind of approached the start of this season and Coach Beard had some higher expectations for you, what was sort of the conversation like between the two of you about, hey, we need you to come up and really be a leader for us, not only on the court, but in the locker room and in the weight room and in every facet of this facility and within this program?
Yeah, so like you said, Norrance and Brandon, they're always amazing leaders by example, but one of the things that they did exceptionally well was able to talk to guys, and not always, getting on them or whatever, but helping them get better. And so that was one thing that me and Coach talked about, having to have a voice, because, the example part is just kind of part of it, just playing hard and whatnot. But being able to talk to these guys and help them out, and tell them when they're doing good, help them out when they're not doing so good, was part of, that conversation me and Coach Beard had that I had to excel in as, I basically inherited this role as becoming a returner. Me, Morrow, and Kyler all share that role. It was just kind of the same thing. We had to be more vocal.
And Avery, you're somebody who really has one of my most favorite stories in all of Tech athletics, because you come here as a walk-on and you earned a scholarship, last month, after 2 years of really working and investing and putting in the time and the effort, and you were awarded that by Coach Beard and his staff. What was that moment like as you get a chance to call your parents and say, hey, and we did this, I did this?
Yeah, I was beside myself. I really couldn't wrap my mind around it at first, and it really didn't change, my day-to-day stuff. It was just kind of how I'm going to get through college was changed. But, it showed that the coaches believe in me and, think I deserved of it. And so, my parents were just ecstatic too, as they didn't have to pay for college anymore. So, but they were proud. They were excited. My mom, was like crying over the phone and stuff. And, it just, it's like a confidence booster, just one of those things mentally that helped me out.
Hard work pays off, and Avery Benson is a true testament of that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for more on Double T Insider. Welcome back into Double T Insider. Texas Tech men's basketball hosts Kansas State on Wednesday at 8 o'clock before heading out on the road to face off against Iowa State Saturday at 5 o'clock. The women are also on the road at Iowa State on Sunday for a 2 o'clock tip.
We heard from Tim Tadlock earlier. Tech baseball on the road at the Round Rock Classic this weekend. 3 games at Dell Diamond. Friday night against Tennessee, Saturday night against Stanford, and then they'll finish it up Sunday against the Houston Cougars. In the final indoor track and field meet at home this season, it'll be the Matador Qualifier. That'll be on Friday at the SPC.
That's all of our time for now. Thanks so much for being with us today on Double T Insider. For Robert Giovanetti, I'm Taylor Peters. We'll see you next week. And if you missed any part of today's show, head on over to TexasTech.com or download the Texas Tech TV app on Apple TV and Roku.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.